What's up guys, I'm Roderick, aka Rodman, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the worst summons from each Souls game. Before we get into the video, Demon Souls and Sekiro will be left off the list because there are no summons in those games. So don't be surprised when you don't see them included. If you like retro video gaming, anime, and gameplay videos, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. So let's get right into the video. So to start the list off with Dark Souls 1, I would say the worst summon in Dark Souls 1 is definitely going to Paladin Leroy. Now I'll say this, for Dark Souls 1, all the summons are pretty good, like they help you a lot with the boss fights, but the risk to reward ratio for Paladin Leroy is very off. You have to take a lot of damage to get him, and guess what? The boss fight, the only boss that he helps you with it in the entire game, is Pinwheel, probably the worst boss in Souls history. So it's not really worth even using Paladin Leroy. He's the hardest to help, or he's the hardest to get to a summon sign. You have to take a bunch of damage, a bunch of fall damage. It's really annoying, so it's not even worth putting in the effort to summon him. But all the rest of the summon signs in Dark Souls 1 are very good. So let's go ahead and move on to Dark Souls 2. So for the worst summon in Dark Souls 2, I am gonna go with Lone Hunter Schmidt. And one reason is he helps you with one of the worst boss fights. You can summon him multiple times for different boss fights, but all the boss fights you can use him for are just complete fodder. And since he is a ranged character, he's a bowman, in pretty much the most important fight you're going to be using him for, which is the fight against the Rotten, which is still one of the worst fights in that game. Since the edges of the room are, covered in fire, a lot of the times he will just stand in the fire and just take damage from the fire. It's ridiculous. A lot of the times he'll get stuck in walls. A lot of the times he'll get stuck outside the boss door just doing nothing. And it's really frustrating using this guy sometimes. But he's okay. But it's just like his AI is just super weird. It's like sometimes a lot of the times he'll just stand there and just die to burn damage. He won't even try to get out of it. Just compared to the rest of the AIs in Dark Souls 2, like Lucatiala Mira, she's very good. It seems like her AI is on point, but Lone Hunter Smith just seems to want to die. But that's who I think the worst NPC is, or worst summon is, in Dark Souls 2. So let's go ahead and move on to Dark Souls 3. So for the worst summon in Dark Souls 3, I'm definitely going to go with Sword Master. This guy, just down to his appearance, he just looks lame. He's just an NPC with no clothes on with the Uchi Katana, which, that's whack. And the crappiness of this summon is really displayed in the fight against Champion Gundyr, because for Vort and Dancer, like, he's a pretty good, like, solid distraction. He's not going to really be in there doing damage. But against Champion Gundyr, he literally stands there and does absolutely nothing, and it's really frustrating. He'll get stuck outside the gate, and then if he gets a hit, he gets like two shot at that point in the game. It's absolutely ridiculous. But fortunately enough, you don't really have to use this guy late game or anything like that. This is really a guy that you can encounter early game that could help you out with things like Vort, Dancer, even though you really shouldn't be struggling with Vort. The Sword Master is definitely going to be the lamest summon in the entire game, especially compared to a lot of the other summons in this game. There's a lot of great summons such as, you know, the Shade of Londor and stuff like that. But this guy definitely misses the mark. So let's go ahead and move on to Bloodborne. Now, this one is going to be a little bit controversial because, in my personal opinion, all the NPCs that you can summon in Bloodborne, they're all good. None of them are trash or none of them are bad. But this one is going to come down to hardware and glitches. And in my experiences, Old Hunter Henriette, it just seems like there's always something going on with this person. It's like always getting stuck in walls, always glitching, always getting stuck outside the boss fog. Always, it's like it's so weird compared to the rest of the NPCs that you can summon. It just seems like it's a real toss up if Henriette is even going to be helping you during a fight. And as you know, if you summon an NPC, it makes the boss's health pool larger, which means that if Henriette gets stuck in a wall or something, then that means that you have to fight a boss with, like, you know, 10,000 more health or something, which is absolutely insane. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but Henriette, she's not bad at all. Like, but if she was a little bit more, you know, what's the word? Consistent with actually helping and not getting glitched out, then she wouldn't even be here. She would be in a different spot because she's really helpful in the fight against Lawrence. Which, in my personal opinion, I believe that Lawrence is the hardest fight in Bloodborne. He's too freaking tanky. But tell me what you guys think about that, because I don't know. It's a real toss up for this one. It's a real toss up. But let's go ahead and go on to eldenring. So by far the worst summon or spirit ash in eldenring is definitely gonna go to the noble sorcerer. I was gonna say the nomad, but the nomad has a few more things in his arsenal compared to the noble sorcerer. The noble sorcerer essentially is an old guy who only has one attack, and that's shooting pebbles of glintstone from his staff. He does nothing else. He's very, very slow. He barely can dodge, and I feel like this guy's almost borderline unusable. He adds no help to you besides taking aggro, and literally every summon in Souls history can take aggro, so it's not like he's doing anything special in that department. But for example, the gameplay you're seeing now, this is a plus 10 noble sorcerer. Yeah, he's taking some hits, but every plus 10 can tank hits. He's doing 62 damage with his strongest move, which is absolutely pathetic. For example, I watched my Mimic tier solo Godric the Grafted in about 1 minute. It is completely pathetic. Why is this guy even in the game? But that's who I believe the worst summon is in Elden Ring. Is definitely going to go to the Noble Sorcerer. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. That's going to wrap it up for this video. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. Ramen out. Peace.